Hey, everybody. Welcome again to the Not Move Podcast Hockey Show in the Wickets. We've got my boy here, Atrain. We've got our other friends, Southgate, and I, of course, I'm the Dollface Gremlin. Atrain, Southgate, how are you guys doing today?
Excellent. Feel like a champion. Feel like a gold medal winning champion today.
Got that Team USA going. Southgate, how about you, buddy? Watch
Great
out
to
for the skis.
watch out.
So, so guys, this is it. We get to talk about a winner today. First, we're going to quickly touch upon the game that happened before the big one that matters most to us. We got to see Switzerland play for the bronze medal game today against Sweden. And that game was a bit exciting, wasn't it, A-Train? That one went into overtime. What a thriller.
Yeah, so leading up to this just this whole little hockey tournament, I'm finding out that there's going to be a lot of games going into overtime.
Yeah, it didn't seem like that in the prelims, right? All the prelims were by and far separated so much. And then seems like since what the quarterfinals now, everything has tightened up. And a bronze medal game like this that goes into overtime, it's nice to see two teams that still care for that last medal, right?
Yep. I got to look up the exact stats. I'm pretty sure this sets a record though for most overtimes in an Olympics so far for hockey. Is
That's
what I
amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy, huh?
That's amazing. And Southgate, here's a fun little stat that I bet you would have wished that you probably would have got in on for a goal scorer. Switzerland's game winning goal scorer, Mueller, scored in overtime to win the game, just like she did 12 years earlier as a 15-year-old to win Switzerland the bronze all the way back then, 12 years ago. How crazy is that, Southgate?
That is really unbelievable.
I mean, those are type of things I know you like to look for. You since you're the man who lays down the lines.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
that
crazy.
it's really cool to see stuff like this happen. I like seeing little similarities like this, right? Where you see someone come back to an Olympics 12 years later, and yeah, it may not be a gold medal or silver medal, but she did it again, another bronze medal off of her stick. So that
What
was
was
well,
no, I actually had a crazy day at work. What was the final score of that game?
the Switzerland team won 2-1 in overtime against Sweden for the women's Switzerland team to get the bronze medal this year.
Okay.
So, but congrats to the Swiss team. Good to see them get a medal. I thought Sweden was going to win that game.
Right.
Um, they looked pretty skilled earlier in the competition, so I did think Sweden was going to win that game. But the main event, boys, main event for the women, that gold medal came home to the United States as it should have. Really impressive game as far as Canada not being able to capitalize off America not playing, in my humble opinion, up to how they had been playing this entire Olympic Games. We'll start with you, Southgate. I know you talked earlier about watching that game and seeing about some of the passes just weren't connecting right off the bat, right?
Yes. Yes. They look like they were just going for the harder passes instead of the short thing, and then I think they just got it together.
Yeah, and I know A Train. You and I talked a little bit about that with uh, our our teams here. Possibly this being a tighter game, um, and look how it turned out. Our team actually finally decided to skate hard. It looked like what in the third period, right?
Yeah, so we pretty much captured gold by defeating Canada 2-1. I'm just going to do the brief summary, right? A thrilling overtime goal earlier today, the storyline's going to be the comeback, right? We're trailing 1-0 late in the third period. We pull our goalie, right, for an extra attacker, and with just 2:04 remaining, we get the goal, right? And that was Hillary Knight that scored the game tying goal, right? Then after that, 4 minutes into the 3-on-3 overtime, Megan Keller decides that she's going to show up at the biggest time and score the game, or yes, and scored the golden goal to seal the victory.
Yeah, yeah. What I find incredible about all of that is um, that shot, first off, to tie the game came off Layla Edwards' stick, and that
Right.
was a tip in right there in the front of the net for Hillary Knight, who sets the record for the women for all time goals.
Yeah.
Just another record.
Yeah, that
So
15 total.
yeah, and it's really impressive. It's really impressive to see how she was able to get this in the most important of games, right? This is the most important time for her to get this type of goal. Now, what I liked about it was because I got to see almost all of this game. Um, the one thing that impressed me is that during the USA penalty on Curl for that sort of hit into the boards, right? Looked like a little bit of a hit, basically. It seemed like because that Canadian player was down for a little bit.
Right.
Um, that was around 6:20, I believe, in the third period. The U.S. did a great job killing the power play. They did a great job of getting that puck and even trying to get a couple chances. They just couldn't keep the puck on their string, could they?
No, that's crazy, huh?
Yeah.
And then she also had Hillary Knight. I'm talking about. She also has 30. She had 33 points, total points too. So I don't know if you caught it, Gremlin, but I guess this is going to be the last time she skates for the Olympic team, huh? She's calling it a career after this.
Yeah, what a send off! One of the great send offs we can look at for a career for women's hockey for the U.S. team. Not only
Yeah.
to break the goals, break the points, I believe, like you were saying, and then to tie the game, be able to tip that puck in to tie the game, to take it to OT. What a career! What a way to cap off a career.
Yep. And then the other storylines was obviously Layla Edwards made history, being the first African American woman to play for and win a gold medal for the United States Olympic hockey team. So big shout out to her. We hit on the last segment about it, but now she actually gets to hold the hardware for the gold medal. And then the defender, right, Carolyn Harvey, right, she was named the tournament MVP. So big shout out to her, really stepping it up for Team United States.
Yeah, big shout out. And just to see this team come in favored and actually win, come in favored. A lot of the favorite teams don't, if we've noticed the last few Olympics haven't done a good job, right, of living up to expectations. But this women's team, even with them skating essentially the first and second period skating against themselves, right? Everything was going against them. Pucks were bouncing. This women's team managed that goal. I don't know if you noticed that goal tie really put a surge, an electrical charge in that women's team, and they just started skating hard forward.
Yeah, what a like you're on the edge of the seat, you're watching it. The other two gold medals that the women's team pulled together was in 1998 and it was in 2018. So to pull another giving us three gold medals. You got to tip your hats to the women. What a dominant performance throughout the whole tournament, Graham. They outscored our opponents 33-2 over 7 games and finished with a 7-0 record. I mean, how much better? I mean, and defeating, which is,
Yeah, another what they're the best. You were talking with and to help with these Olympic that you enjoyed about watching this gold medal run from this year's women's Olympics team.
It's just everything about it. I mean, it just wasn't like I'm not a big women's sports guy, but I mean, I would definitely continue to watch women's hockey. It is more of the more exciting things I've watched. Um, I'm not a big WNBA guy or nothing like that, but I really enjoyed every sense of it.
Yeah, I did too. I know Atrain. You and I talked about not only the Layla Edwards factor of it all, but it's also cool to see a name that we recognize in the NHL performing and winning the game in the women's Keller. We're familiar obviously with the brother, who is
Right,
a phenom in Utah. He is
right.
one of the premier goal scorers in the NHL. But if anybody has been paying attention to women's hockey for the last few years, I would say decade, you've heard this name, especially Keller. Game on the stick, and she did it.
Some families are just bred it into it, Grim. You know what I mean? Like, look at the bloodline there. I mean, great players. Parents couldn't be more proud of them. I'm sure. Just a big shout out to Women's USA Hockey. They definitely showed out this year, and I'm definitely super proud of them.
Yeah, I am too. So now we're gonna move on to the um, men's Olympics. We were all excited about this. We all were on lives together, texting each other, calling each other as soon as these quarterfinal games were popping off finally after seeing who got the buys. Um, so, A Train, let's go ahead and start with you. Slovakia obviously advanced. And of course, that's who we're going to be playing next. The United States will be squaring off against Slovakia there in this, how conveniently wrapped up round, right?
Hey, yeah, and it's not going to be an easy out. I mean, it's impressive what I saw out there, 6-2 over Germany. I mean, we got our hands. We definitely got our hands full with these guys, don't you think?
Yeah, one guy who, once again making his name known is Slavkovsky.
Slavkovsky.
He can't be denied. It's like Slavkovsky gets on the international level and
Hmm.
just performs. Last Olympics, what, 17, I believe he was at the time, and he ended up being the player. So yeah, I'm not taking this team for a joke. How about you, Southgate? We're going to see this matchup of, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but, Slovakia, you and I have talked about, and of course, what have you always said about the skis out there in Slovakia?
Yeah,
Southgate,
I mean,
clip this. Clip this.
I, I told you be careful of the skis when they're coming for you. It's got to be like one of those things in life. I mean, that team is hungry and it's coming, and I would not underrate them. I mean, that uh, who was the winger we were saying on the front line of that team they were playing?
For Slovakia, I know you and I have been talking about
No,
Slavkovsky,
no, that's
but then,
Slovakia. The other team, the guy for Germany.
oh, Stutzold, who was down
Yeah,
center. Yeah,
Stutzel. I mean,
Stutzold.
he got shut down the final two games completely. The first two games he was cooking for Germany, and then like he got totally taken out of the equation. And
Yeah,
I think that was actually Germany's downfall.
yeah, you're right about that. They really did shut him down. Stutzel had been performing very well.
Yes.
Drysidle, Drysidle. He's still,
He's
he's
he's so fucking good, dude.
he's
He's
so
so
Yeah,
good.
you
fucking
know
good.
what? But that's how they had shut down pretty much the whole Olympics. It was Stutzel carrying them. Once they found a way to shut down both of them, then Germany was really in trouble.
Yeah, one person I would have thought that I would have seen more from Germany in that game on more of a shot register aspect was Moritz Seider. And I didn't think he did a very good job defensively against Slovakia at all. And I think Moritz Seider is one of the top defensemen in the NHL, easily top 10, top five, if we're really at number five for me. A Train, I know you know Mort Sider as well. I was a little surprised about how he was just getting beat left and right in that game. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean that's going to be one of the major storylines, right? When we look back at this Olympics, like you look for your major stars to show up in the biggest stages, and when it comes to Olympic hockey, when you're it's a little bit bigger when you're playing for your country. So what did you do for your country? You know, it's a big deal. So especially when it comes to hockey. So yeah, just a big shocker. You know what I mean? You expect your guy to show up at the biggest times, and when they go ghost and they disappear, it's definitely a storyline that we're going to carry into, moving forward.
Yeah, and let's break into the next game before we talk about America and Canada's games. Finland beat Switzerland. That game, I believe, ended in overtime,
Yes.
3-2. A train that harkens back to what you said earlier
So
about
yeah,
I
getting
mean,
close in
so
overtime.
So in this
I mean, it
quarterfinal
was
round, that ended on Wednesday, we saw three of the four games that we're talking about decided in overtime. That is a first in Olympic history. Some of these heavy hitters that we saw going into this round, they survived, but not without a scare. And some of these juggernauts, they definitely did not just dominate. You know what I mean? You look for these big powerhouses to blow teams out, like we were saying with the 6-2 win, but a lot of games decided in OT. The one I take away from this Finland Switzerland game, in this overtime game, was Arturi Lehkonen. Right, he had the OT winner to eliminate the Swiss, and got to give a shout out to Arturi Lehkonen. Right.
You do. You really have to. Finland, and also another guy you're familiar with, really drove Finland this entire time, and that's Rantanen. He was pretty dominant to get them to this point as well. Rantanen, I know, had treated Southgate fairly well in a couple of the earlier games, didn't he? Right,
yes,
Southgate.
yes, he did. I'm a
So
big Redskins fan after what he did for me.
yeah, so I like Finland. I think that they're going to be a tough opponent against Canada in this next round. But let's go ahead and get into it. Canada. So overtime game, one of the overtime games that you're speaking to, A Train. They're taking on Czechia, and what a game that was indeed.
I just want to shout out one thing for Canada. I mean, I haven't seen him do nothing the whole playoff run, and in their deepest moment, Suzuki came up bigger than anybody to tie that game.
Yeah, Suzuki with what the tip in really.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, I
Just
didn't see it live. I was working, but I mean, he wasn't doing nothing the whole playoffs. I mean the whole Olympics.
Tournament.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, tournament. Just call it a tournament,
Yeah,
Southgate. Yeah.
yeah.
So, just real quick, I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about it. It's really feels weird rooting against Canada because they got some of my favorite players on that squad. They narrowly avoided a massive upset. Tell me how much of a massive upset that would have been if Canada would have lost that game. And we got to tip our hats, right, to Mitch Marner, right? Secured the win in overtime. I mean, huge
beautiful
fucking
shot.
huge fucking shot, right, Graham?
Beautiful shot too. Not
Yeah.
even just a huge shot, just a beautiful shot too. Right off the corner, bing, hits off that far side of the post. Goalie did not expect that shot to go there either. You could see it. The goalie was transitioning, following Marner, and boom, just pops it off. And Mitch Marner, I know I was looking for him to score before the game because he had been quiet on the goal sheet, but he was there in the assist sheet. Especially, unfortunately, we do got to talk about Sidney Crosby getting hurt from that. A couple Radko Guda hits, it looked like. The last one being the kind of two guys pressing him up against the glass in the corner there. And really, he felt that thigh or knee injury. Now, John Cooper did come out and say that he has not been fully ruled out, but that didn't look too good, did it, guys? Sydney, as soon as he came off, as soon as I saw it happen, and he got off the ice sitting on the bench, me being a Penguins fan who is familiar with how this guy plays and when he comes off the bench, what he looks like, I knew right away something was not right. He had this little bit of an injury last year, sort of, if you paid attention. Kind of happened in the Four Nations also. Like he was taping himself up to play the Four Nations. And then now this happens, and it immediately goes into the talk of should NHL players be allowed to play. I think this is something we should hit on real quick. I'm gonna open the floor to you, A Train. This is gonna be an argument probably at the next collective bargaining agreements. What's your thoughts on NHL players playing in the Olympics?
I mean, just to kind of hit back, and I don't mean to switch sports, but Graham, you kind of get a taste of what it felt like for me in Southgate with Bo Nix, right? In football, right? The only difference is it would be like if this would have happened like in a game in the middle of the season. You know what I mean? So you kind of get a feel of what we had to deal with there. You know what I mean? So that's really my big thing is it just sucks, especially when it's not a game that's an NHL game I mean, obviously it's big, right? But it's an NHL game that it counts for a gold medal. It doesn't count for your in the team that you play for in your city. So I think, like you said, Graham, like they might hit on this. You know what I mean? Maybe a lot of guys won't play because of something like this, especially when you get up there in age. You know what I mean?
That's one thing that I there's a couple other aspects. You're right. Like it harkens back to me of watching Sidney Crosby take that head hit from the Capitals player. Unfortunately, I'm going to get chilled for this by my friends for not remembering his name, but in the Winter Classic, I believe back in like 2012, when the
Okay.
Penguins played the Washington Capitals in
Uh
that
huh.
game, Crosby, I think it was Beagle maybe from the Caps, not 100% sure. He took a vicious hit in the head with
Right.
no penalty that happened, no even suspension on the guy. Middle of the season, that's what it felt like for me. And watching
Now,
this
did they
happen,
say what the damage was to Crosby or what?
it's looking like it's his knee or ankle on that side. I mean, I know he was favoring his knee, is what it looked like, because the hit almost looked like he got bent, like he hyperextended, but to the side. And that is, it looked gruesome if you watched what happened. He tried to kind of go under Gouda, and then Gouda just continued on with his hit. Didn't even get a penalty either on either of the other ones, which is fine. The Olympic play is a little bit tougher, but I feel bad for us Penguins fans. That changes our trajectory depending on how he comes out of this, out of the Olympics. But I feel mostly bad for Sidney Crosby just because I know how much he likes to compete and he wants to win. And the Olympics especially, right, guys? See, he loves playing for Canada.
One of my favorite players, Graham. He has that close relationship with Nathan McKinnon, who is my favorite player. So, just being so close, and me having, I like Sidney Crosby before Nathan McKinnon even came into the league. So this one definitely hurts my heart for not only you, Graham, but just, the inner fan of hockey and with me. I really am gonna miss this guy, especially if he misses, an expanded period of time.
Yeah, and to get back to a little bit of what drew us here with the NHL players in the Olympics, I think this is going to give ammunition for the owners to kind of, maybe put a stop to this for the next one. We noticed the last two Olympics without having NHL players was still exciting, but we missed that. We missed seeing our guys go out on an international level and compete. But when things like this happen, for franchises, we see the negative effect for a franchise, especially for the owners. We think of it in this way: that's their investment, right?
Hmm.
Ultimately, they're watching their investment go out on an international stage that they have no control over. And their investment is getting hurt not on the team's time, but on essentially their other time.
Right.
So I think this is going to give the owners something to think about, or restructure it somehow, like whether they make the international committee cover some sort of player insurance in case someone gets hurt or something to that effect. This is going to be something I think that does cause a little bit of conversation coming up.
Yeah.
Um, so guys, we're gonna before we
Well,
talk about
well,
team.
actually, Gremlins, I got one question for you. Which goaltender let you down, or do you think played the worst in the Olympics so far?
I think Bennington actually looks really weak out there this time around, whereas at the Four Nations in the previous, he looked so much better. I don't know what it is this Olympics this time around.
Facts.
Uh, I don't, he usually is dynamite on an international level. I don't know what this particular one is. Maybe he realizes all the talent in front of him is there. But in reality, if we really want to break down Canada's defense, if they face the Americans can beat their defense. Americans are deeper on defense than Canada is. Aside from the Makar Taves pairing, they can be taken advantage of easily. There's not a better puck handler out of the besides those two, really. But for me, I'm going Bennington. How about you, Southgate? Who was a goaltender that you really were disappointed in for this tournament so far?
I don't know the goaltenders that well yet to really make that assumption. I'm just getting back into the sport, so I would be off if I named somebody. To be honest with you, it would be unfair.
No, I understand that completely. A Train, is there maybe not even just a goaltender, but maybe a player that you're a little bit disappointed by so far this Olympics?
Um, just off the top of my head, I can't really think of one that Biddington. I'm gonna co-sign off of you. He's been my biggest disappointment up to this point.
Well, that wasn't for me that I told you Graham was Gunsel.
Yeah, Gunsel has been off, hasn't been really on the score sheet as much as initially thought. Someone also too, Tage Thompson for US. He had one
Yes,
goal the last game, but not this last game where, this important game. I think the game before when he finally scored, he didn't have a goal either. So one for me though, I am shocked right now that Eric Carlsson hasn't had a bigger role for
Oh,
Sweden.
that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh huh.
normally he is an international phenom when it comes to getting on that ice and really propelling his team from that blue line. It seems like he can't even get going offensively, can he, A Train?
No, yeah. I totally spaced that one out. That was a good pull. This is a guy you expect to show out. Like I said, some of these guys go ghost, and you're surprised because they've been so dominant for their teams. And then to put them with the best of the best from each country, and for them to not show out, it's definitely a shocker.
Yeah, you're right. And so, this is a great question from our boy Better Betters. In our opinions, guys, what do we like better, Olympic hockey or NHL hockey? You know what, A Train? Why don't you go ahead? Because Southgate, he's just getting back into it for us. And, I don't think, Southgate, this is unfair. You're basically coming back into it in an all star
yes.
tournament. But,
Right.
So
A
you know
Train,
what I was
how
gonna
do you,
say.
yeah, A Train, how do you feel? Which one's for you?
I know, and then this is it's going to kind of make me a homer and kind of biased, but my team being so dominant that they are in the Colorado Avalanche, like obviously I'm going to lean towards my team during the regular season because they are so dominant.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's hard for me to, especially when I have these great players that I root for all year, and then we get to this break, and then I gotta root for the guys that they're always playing against that I'm always talking shit about or rooting against, and then all of a sudden I'm torn between the players I love and the players I root for all the time and the players that I'm always rooting against. So I'm definitely torn during the Olympics. So I'd rather just root for the guys that I always, my favorite players. So I'm going to go with the NHL games personally.
I I couldn't agree more. Though I like how the Olympic ice is wider and it's a bit bigger, and we get to see a little bit more skill. Though I love this. Don't get me wrong. All right, always we love this. Our country, born butter. We know it, guys. I am dedicated to this. Okay. I'm dedicated to the Penguins. This is what I'm dedicated to. This is what I go on the ice to go look for. That's what I'm trying to go see. I want to see the black and gold back out there trying to be in the playoffs again, winning a cup. I want to
Right.
see my boys playing against the Flyers and beating the Flyers silly like we always do because they're from Philly and they stink. It's just this. That's what we root for. Southgate, buddy, I think you're going to say Olympic hockey, but you may change your mind to NHL. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's been Olympic hockey, which has been the more exciting thing. But like I said, I really haven't locked in and watched the regular season yet.
No
Yeah,
New
we're
Jersey
gonna.
Devils for you, huh?
No, no Devils,
Yeah,
no
don't
Devils.
do the Rangers either, Southgate. You might actually
I
want to
still,
be an Islander fan right now.
Yeah,
So
right now, yeah.
things are looking up for the Isles.
Yeah.
things haven't looked up for the Isles since the '80s, man. It's tough.
So we're gonna really quick before we talk about the U.S. men, do a quick talk about our sponsors. We got mybookie.ag. Go through them. Use the code not moved. You're gonna get a percentage towards your first that go through our stores, through our links. We got the Not Move store, which has got some cool products, hoodies, cups. We've had some Not Move people share it out there too. They're really happy with their hoodies. They're comfortable. They like the cups. So thank you out there. Shout out Rach. Shout out Joe's. Thank you guys for buying the stuff and enjoying it and trying to get some other people to enjoy it too because it is comfortable. We also got our NFL shop, which if you go through there, you're going to get some percentages off of your purchases. And then, of course, we got the MLB shop for baseball. And then A-Train, I know you're very proud of our sponsor here, W Energy Drinks. Why don't you tell us about them?
Yeah, W Energy Drink. Obviously, when the company decided and they reached out, or I reached out to them, and when I found out that they incorporate, and they want to sponsor gamers, I was like, I have a sports podcast, and there's obviously gamers in our sports podcast. So when I emailed them to get the sponsorship, one thing that I really liked about them is they incorporated, their cans are super cool looking. It tastes great. I mean, just all around, it's the one of the better energy drinks because I was trying to search around and look at for different ones that would suit the Not Move podcast. And W Energy, I was so happy when they became official sponsor of the Not Move podcast because their cans look cool. Like I said, they put anime characters on their cans. Like it tastes great. That all around they were just the best one when I was shopping around thinking of who fits us the best. And like I said, they sponsor a lot of gamers, so that's why I'm gonna shout out W Energy. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thank you, W Energy, especially coming up with the great flavors. Of course, we're all about tasting new and exciting flavors. And there is one other thing. We got our wrestling podcast with Robert. They are doing a WWE 2K 2026 game giveaway. A-Train, you've been involved with this more than I have. What do they got to do to get involved with this game giveaway?
All right, you just gotta pretty much prove that you're a subscriber of the Not Move podcast. So anybody that's watching us on any platform, whether it's Twitch, Kick, Facebook, YouTube, all you got to do is you see one of our videos, it sparks your interest. You like one of our segments. All you got to do is become a subscriber. Take a screenshot. Send it to us any which way on any platform. Again, we are the Not Move Podcast, so you can find the Not Move Podcast on all these platforms. All you got to do is show your proof of subscribing, and we are going to randomly draw, a winner of the Not Move Podcast WWE 2K giveaway, and you will get yourself a free copy of WWE 2K26.
That's awesome. So, guys, if you stay not moved with us, we're going to stay not moved with you and reward you. Just use our links, use our codes. I know my wife used the Walmart link, and we did get some stuff off from our weekly Walmart pickup, and that's always a good thing. Just be a part of it, and we'll always benefit you. So, guys, let's talk about before we start breaking into NHL prospect talks today. We got our boys, the Americans. They also went to overtime against Sweden. Really weird puck bouncing game, really close game. Sweden, of course, showing how deep their defense was. I think this team Sweden had the second best depth of defense so far in all the tournament, in my opinion. And the Americans managed to pull it out off of Quinn Hughes' stick in overtime. Wow, what a finish. Another great overtime game. A-Train, the Americans pulled out 2-1.
Yep. Couldn't be more proud. Now I don't know how you felt about this one when I was watching it, Graham, but tell me this didn't feel like a Game 7 atmosphere when we were watching this game. Tensions were high again. I was on the edge of my seats. Quinn Hughes, he's been the hero, the game winner in OT. You got to give a big shout out to Quinn Hughes.
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't be happier with the guy. When they tied it with only 91 seconds left, that it's just a nail biting game. I'm hoping that maybe I just feel like it might just be this way for the rest of the tournament. Connor Hallebuck, which is my background. This is his actual USA goalie mask. Super cool goalie mask that they change every year. This guy was awesome. Stellar, stopping 28 of 29 shots. So big shout out to Helly.
Yeah, I'm impressed with Hellebuck. 29 shots against, like you said, making the big important saves, only letting that one goal by. Southgate, what did you think of this game against the Swedes? U.S. pulling it out.
I was just very excited about it. I mean, it was. I actually didn't think the U.S. was gonna pull it out, but I mean, they just showed me that they, I was a little afraid of the Swedes going in, and the U.S. just. I mean, they just locked down when they had to. That was pretty
Yeah.
much it.
Yeah, no, you're right. We got a question on my TikTok page here since we're doing some dual streaming from our boy Robert asking, do y'all think the USA can win it all? Do you think we're winning gold this year? We're going to talk about that in this preview of the final two games here momentarily, Robert. But yeah, I think we all agree they possibly can. One thing that did impress me, well, one thing I got to get to right away. Uh, that late goal by Mika Zibanejad. I knew he was going to strike. It was all matter of when because he has been before even coming into this tournament. Mika was on fire on that garbage Rangers team right now, which I don't understand why they're bad. Mike Sullivan, the same coach who's coaching Team USA, is coaching the Rangers. They have all the talent in the world, you would think, right?
Yeah.
Something's not clicking there. They have the one of the worst home records in the NHL this year, but Mika carries that to Team Sweden, and he has been lights out this tournament. As soon as I saw that goal, Atrain, I was like, "Oh man, this is not where I want to be." With 18:29, that this goal takes place. Mika's been a Jad. What'd you think about him outside of this game?
Yeah, that's why I was gonna let you say his name because I didn't want to butcher it. Maybe we should have let Southgate say his name because he would have butchered it even more. But yeah, Zinjinavad, yeah, that guy, yeah, he's damn good.
Yeah, Mika, I really like Mika, and also that another guy who's quietly had a good tournament is Ian Raymond. Raymond has had a decent tournament this whole time for Sweden, just getting assists here and there, doing what he needs necessary. Um, and your boy Landeskog had a helper on that nice little apple.
Yeah.
Um, and then we take it into overtime. And guys, this is something I think we need to touch upon real quick. I do not like 3-on-3 overtime hockey in the Olympics or in the NHL for that matter right now, but less so in the Olympics. I feel like if any stage, we need more 5-on-5 for at least one more period in the Olympics, right?
I was glad that you hit on that because I was kind of thinking I was leaning towards the same thing. This three on three is a little scary, man. I'm used to the 5-on-5. The 3-on-3 is different. I mean, I'm with you on that one, Graham.
Yeah, Southgate, with you jumping back in, I know you were a avid hockey fan in the early 2000s and the 90s, so we talk about that era a lot. And even then, they still had a decent overtime session. They went from 5-on-5 to then they would do what 4-on-4, and now to this 3-on-3 format.
Mhm.
What do you think about this 3-on-3 overtime format in the Olympics?
Oh, I didn't know that you said the rink was wider.
Yeah, and in Olympic hockey, the rink is just slightly wider for international play.
Yep.
Then I think they should push it to 4-on-4. I mean, if it's gonna be wider like that, I mean, because I mean, it's up to you. I mean, do you favor to see a shootout or no?
I mean, I have fond memories of TJ Oshie just burying shootout goals. So yeah, I'm
Yeah,
all
so
for
that's
seeing
what I'm saying.
shootout.
If you're a fan that favors the shootout, then I'm assuming you would want more skaters on the ice.
Well, I want a period of hockey to determine, and if they can't determine it, then yeah, I want a shootout. But 3-on-3, like A Train saying, it is open, especially on international play. It opens it up a lot, but in such a way that it's almost unfair when sometimes when you think about it with how they're able to create that space, and either side could do it, and it's really just a matter of who gains puck possession to get that first major chance. That's what
Yeah.
it boils down to. And 3-on-3, in my opinion, I just don't. I'm not. I don't like it. I don't like it for either side.
It's either that, it's either who gains puck possession or who makes the first mistake.
Yeah,
You know.
And it's really easy to see someone, and we've seen it, Atrain, hundreds of times in the NHL where someone's going one way and just a little poke, and that's it. One on one with the
Yep.
goalie,
And you got to
overtime's
break
over. That's
away.
it.
Yep.
So, but the men prevailed. So now, guys, let's do some quick predictions. We have our games coming up, the most important
Yep.
games, obviously, of our tournament lives right now. We have the men taking on the U.S. men taking on Slovakia. That is actually going to be the 3:10 game.
Yep.
I think this game is going to be very close. I think Slovakia, like Southgate said, you got to watch out for the skis. Clip that. Watch out for the skis.
Yes, I mean, I'm looking at it right now. They have the United States as enormous favorites. Enormous. But they do have Canada as the favorite to win the gold. But they are you have to lay $850 to win 100 on the money line
Hmm.
against the
Okay.
skis.
Against the skis.
Against the skis. I'm just gonna call them the skis, but yeah. But I'm assuming these two guys are brothers. No, actually they're not brothers. I'm sorry, but yeah. Actually they're all brothers, but uh, yeah. I mean, this guy that plays for the Canadians, I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce his name.
Slavkovsky.
Yep,
He's a
he's been
ski.
great. He's the ski, and the other one that plays for the Blues,
Now,
Gavosky.
Southgate, I have a really important question. We have a couple
Yes,
of different types of skis in the NHL. We've got skis that end in Y, skis that end with Y, and skis that end with SCHI. What's the most dangerous ski?
the white,
The Y.
the
Okay.
white.
Yeah,
Oh man.
I have to agree. I mean, there's plenty of other good regular skis out there, but the Y skis really get it going.
Right.
Someone else I didn't see. Did you have we seen much out of Jack Hughes?
So Jack Hughes has been an anomaly for me lately in this games. He had that good game before the last game with the line with Austin Matthews, where they were creating some good opportunities, and Matthews managed to score. Overall, though, I haven't liked his game very much. How about you, A Train?
Nah. I mean the names. I just to put you on game, Southgate, real quick. The tournament leaders right now are going to be Connor McDavid is leading in points with 7. Austin, our guy Austin Matthews, he's leading the U.S. with 5 points. If we look from NHL perspective, I feel like the teams that are really showing out the most right now are going to be like the Oilers with Connor McDavid and Draisaitl. We got obviously my Avalanche with Nekis, and we have McKinnon. Obviously, they're up there right now. We got the San Jose Sharks. They're up there. Their guys are balling out. And then we got we got Jack Hughes with the Devils. He actually, he's doing all right. I mean, he's doing all right.
Well, I gotta be honest with you. I mean, from what I've been watching, the Chuck brothers have been the most important thing for the United States. Matthew
I
and Brady.
I don't hate that take. I mean, that's not a horrible take.
I've actually liked Brady a lot more too than I'd say his brother, but I agree with you, Southgate. And actually, I would venture for me because I've been paying attention to the blue line more. I think Quinn Hughes has been the most important player for the U.S. during this tournament.
He has been
Facts.
playing very well. He has
Yeah,
been playing very well.
and
Now I
after the
noticed this. Not to interrupt you, but I noticed there's two players that they moved up the goal line that I haven't really seen all year, and that's Pavel Regenda. Am I saying that right?
one more time.
Pavol, Pavel,
Okay.
Regenda.
RGNDA.
Looks like he plays for the Sharks.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. I don't know how to say his name properly. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Sorry, Slovakians. We really do not mean to disrespect you like this. We're just not good at
yes.
saying your names. Feel free
Him,
to butcher all of ours.
him and Thomas Taylor.
Thomas Tatar.
Thomas Taylor. Okay, there you go.
Trainer.
See, I told
You
you I would
call him
butcher it.
trainer.
Oh,
Thomas
Taylor.
Tater. Thomas
Taylor.
Tater.
Like
Well,
a
Called out
tater
for
tot.
Thomas
hey,
Tater.
we got to have
Like a,
Southgate on the show to pronounce names that each week, Graham.
Yeah,
like,
we're on top of our player profile, which we're gonna have after prospects. We're gonna have the Southgate name segment, and we're gonna finish off every week from now on with Southgate having to try and pronounce at least two NHLers' names. And
yeah,
if
it's
he gets one of
difficult.
them right, he's gonna give you a sweet parlay for the next NHL game that comes on the next
Yes, I
night.
will.
If he
But
doesn't, then sorry, that's just how it goes.
Thomas Taylor, he's up there on the anytime goal list too.
And what about for US right now? For US anytime goal list?
Right
Who are we
now, the
thinking?
favorite is Austin Matthews, which he's pretty much been up there. They moved Matthew and Brady up to 2 and 3, where Jack Eichel has been, and then pretty much at 5 and 6 has been Gunsel and Thompson. But they've been there the whole tournament. Um, then it's Hughes. Then it's the guy in the Canadians, Slavkovsky, the first skate, the good skate, the really good skate.
The good ski.
The
There's
very
bad
good ski.
skis.
Yeah. And then it goes
Bad
Boldy Nelson.
sauce.
And I know you haven't been happy. You haven't been happy with Brock Nelson, right?
I like Brock Nelson that first game, the first couple games, and then aside from that, I don't know why he hasn't been inputting as much as before. Maybe it's just because everybody else is, it's a super team, so maybe they're all stepping up.
Yep.
But it maybe I see in this game coming up here, I I'm thinking that Gunsel's finally going to get on the board. And I do like the Matthews take, but I like a Kachuk in this game. I like a Kachuk in this game to get something done. And of course,
Now you were just speaking about Keller. You think this? You said his sister scored.
yeah, his sister scored, and maybe I would, that might be something to look at for what that does in the past for odds if that's ever happened. Because I know Phil Kessel's sister played in the Olympics. I don't know if it was at the same time as Phil. Obviously, maybe they were getting hot dogs in some country together. Who knows? But yeah, that would be interesting. Atrain, who do you got winning this game? Slovakia, US. What are you thinking score wise?
Yeah, I'm gonna let Southgate pick the anytime goal scorers. I'm gonna definitely, obviously, take the United States. Give me a 4-3 game. Hopefully, it's not determined in overtime though.
Okay.
Are you thinking like wait, Adrian, are you thinking the US gets up like really early or what?
And that's what I'm projecting, but you never know.
I'm thinking this game is close too. I think might be 4-3 or 3-2. I think Slovakia scores first. They've been really good at doing that this tournament. So I think Slovakia might score first. I think you look at Werenski for points. Zach Werenski has been good on the blue line. And if you're looking for an underdog, Southgate, maybe this is the week that you think Boldy might be the one to look at. What do you think?
I've been waiting for Boldy all tournament. I've been waiting on Baldy. Hold on, we get back to. Okay, here we are. But right now, to win the gold, they got Canada minus 120, USA plus 110, Finland plus 1200, and Slovakia plus 3300.
Jeez.
Wow. We have seen stranger things in the past, fellas. Where the favorites have lost. So I don't. I'm nervous
But
about this game. I am.
listen. See what I'm nervous about is I can't. I really haven't seen a game where Slovakia has looked bad.
Yeah, Slovakia really putting it down on Germany in that last game, and everybody, Germans they were favored to win that game, and Slovakia just came right out and proved once again you can't take them lightly.
Right.
So before we get into these juniors that we want to touch upon, looking forward to the NHL draft, Canada, they are going to be facing off, of course, against Finland. I've got Canada winning this, but I would not put it past the Finns to have the upset special in mind for this game.
Wow.
I don't like how the Finns match up speed wise against Canada. Like I said, that defense outside of the pairing of Makar and Taves, I'm not liking what I see from the puck handling. Now, that might change, maybe with this injury to Sidney Crosby as well. Maybe this gets this team to get a little bit more physical, you know. But for me, I think this is going to be a close one. What are you thinking, Atrain?
Yeah, I mean, you already know this is. I don't think we're seeing blowouts from here on out. I think I'm gonna go with a low score. I am. I'm gonna go 2-1 Canada.
Southgate for anytime goals for this game. Finland, Canada. What is tickling your fancy right now?
Hold on, let me get there. I'm sorry, guys. I got an NBA parlay problem too, so I was just checking that out. Canada, Finland. Okay. I gotta be honest with you. Celebrini has been the best of the tournament so far. I think. Getting points, scoring goals, assists. He's been all over the place. For some strange reason, in the Canada Finland game, they moved this guy up to fourth. They moved Tom Wilson up.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's Carter, McKinnon, Celebrini, Wilson, Nico, and then Gremlins. Am I saying that properly on Anaheim?
Yeah, Granlund.
Yeah. Why would they move Tom Wilson up so high?
I don't know. I mean,
Remember
he
I had
can't.
Tom Wilson last game and you said you weren't crazy about that pick?
Yeah, and he didn't score last game. He didn't even get
Yeah,
a
he
point.
didn't score last game. He didn't even get a point. Yes, and now he's fourth favorite to score.
No
I
shit, he's
wonder.
due.
I wonder if they're thinking because he did get a goal, I believe, earlier in one of the earlier games,
Now
and I
is
want.
he filling in that wing for anybody? For Crosby?
No, no, he's been wing for the third and fourth line, I believe. I think because Celebrini's been up with McDavid for a good portion of it. They've been having Mac on the second line, and he Tom Wilson's been on the third to fourth line a lot. I think they're thinking maybe Wilson might be maybe it's just going to be a physical game, and they're going to try and get him involved in front of the net. Which, if they do, then yeah, it's a very good possibility if they're going to park him in front of the net with the
Right.
physical aspect, because that is where Canada can take advantage. They have some physical forwards. Maybe
And
that's
here's
why Southgate.
and just to round it out, then you have Sam Reinhart. You have the guy Rube Hintz. Then you have A-Train's man Kale. And then you have Mitch Marner, Mark Stone, and then you have Sebastian Aho.
Yeah, Aho's been really reliable
Aho.
so
Yeah.
far. He's
He's
been
been great the
reliable.
whole tournament. Yes, he's been
Yeah.
great the whole tournament.
So A Train, you're going 2-1. I think I agree
All
with
right,
you on this.
actually, I'm sorry. This is someone else who's let me down. He's pretty low. I haven't seen much out of Hagel.
Hagel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Hagel I didn't like last game either. He
Is that
was.
because he plays off the fourth line, just not seeing enough action, or what?
It could be that. I mean, Hagel is normally used to playing on a line with Nikita Kucherov,
Yeah, that
so
helps a lot.
there
Yeah.
really is that. So it's not like he's But still, you figure with playing on a line with Nikita Kucherov, it would be it'd be easy to mesh in with another superstar, but I guess not.
Right.
Uh, I don't know. I'm not sure about him. All I know is I think Canada. I'm with you, A Train. I think it's going to be a 2-1 game, maybe even 3-2. Um, but Finns are sneaky this year, man. And if anything, I think this one might potentially be the upset game.
Right. Could be.
Um, Now you guys have me. I know it's gonna sound celebrating is Canada, right?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay. So who's Finland's top player here?
Rantanen. Rant.
Rantanen. Okay.
Yeah, Aho as well. Aho's up there with
Oh,
Rantanen.
okay.
Yeah, it's like a 1A, 1B scenario with Rantanen probably being the more bigger superstar out of the two.
Facts.
Um, and they are
Now, what do
fast.
you guys think about Mark Stone?
He's been all right in the tournament. He's also one of those kind of bruising bodies. He can check, he can get down there and bang in front of the net and get some deflections, but also he has hands. You got to watch out for him. He can flip the puck in real nice.
Yep. Facts.
Let's check out.
Well,
Southgate's getting his shit lined up.
yeah, I know. Well, we've spent as much time as we can on the Olympic men's team right now. So we're going to move to the draft prospects. I know A Train was boning up on this with me as well because there's a couple guys we're excited about here, especially, maybe my Penguins might have to be in league for some of these lower draft picks.
Well,
Yeah.
one more thing, Gremlin. Miko Rantanen.
Yeah.
He's plus 430 for 2 points.
And see, I would not be surprised if he gets those 2 points. And like I said,
Yeah,
I
that's a nice value bet.
I'm intrigued by Finland for some reason for this game against Canada. I don't know what it
And
is.
I have a feeling like Atrain's boy Kale is gonna do really good because he's only plus 195 for 2 points.
Mm.
You can get him.
Well, well, before we do our player profile real quick, gonna touch on the prospects.
Okay,
2026
go ahead,
draft
guys.
is 2026 draft is coming. Thanks for joining us. If you are popping down Southgate, um, we will have him back with us next week. But thanks again,
Yeah, I'm not
Southgate.
gonna be able to really give everything in on the draft.
No, I got you, brother. We appreciate you joining us, and of course, we'll catch you next week when you come back. A Train and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna hit the wheels on the prospects here for the draft.
Thanks,
Uh,
guys. Have a good show.
Thanks, Southgate. You too.
Uh,
So, guy, A Train. The first guy I want to touch upon, and I'm sure he's number one on your list, is of course Ivar Stenberg. Right now, Ivar has been bumping up and down, number one, number two, number three, with a couple of the other guys on our list here. He is with Sweden. He was just a part of the World Junior Championships. He is a fantastic player. He's got that typical Swedish great with his hands, high hockey IQ. That's one thing I've always loved about Swedish hockey players is they just have a high hockey IQ, knowing where to be in position, knowing where to get the puck out in sticky situations. I really like him. I ultimately don't know if he's going to be the number one pick right now. He's just playing really well in the Swedish Junior Hockey League, and I like his style of play. I'm not sure. We'll see who gets that number one pick. But
I have
that's.
him number 2, Graham.
Hey, are you looking at our next boy who I have as my number two right now?
I'm gonna hit on Ivar real quick. All right, so he can play left and right wing, right? So you can stick him on both sides, don't matter. Yeah, he's obviously the Sweden standout with dude, this guy has no real weakness. Like I've kind of
No.
watched a little bit of tape on him just to kind of see what we're looking forward to on this upcoming draft, and I don't see a real weakness. Like this guy is a complete player, so I can see why you do have him at number 1.
Yeah, and that's obviously the next guy who I think you might have as number one on your list. For me is my number two right now, and that's only right now just based off of what happened recently at the World Championships and now following the World Championships. But Ivar, as of right now, like I said, I think he's going to swap with the next guy. I'm sure you have his number one. Is it Gavin McKenna?
Gavin McKenna, yes, the left winger from Penn State. The freshman, yes.
Yeah, of course, Gavin came over from the WHL, which has been something that hockey players have been getting more and more into from Canada, coming from the hockey, the junior leagues there. And I think this is benefiting Gavin to be at Penn State to play a rougher style of play in the NCAA. But Gavin McKenna has been talked about for the last couple years. He is starting to get that kind of fevered talk like Celebrini, before him, drafted before him, and then of course a couple years before that, Bedard, right?
All
So,
right. So here's my comparison, real quick. All right. And I hope you don't crucify me for this. So this is what I think about him. I think this guy's an elite playmaker, and I hate to do it, but I see a little bit of Sidney Crosby in him, dude. I do. He's got the vision, he's got the high hockey IQ, and I think this guy's got a huge ceiling. So I mean, don't crucify me for comparing him to Sid the Kid, but that's why I have him number one. He reminds me of him,
the attitude for sure, and
you
the
know?
determination. Yeah, I agree with. I think I see. I'm so position centric when I think about these guys. He's a winger, a left winger particularly. So
Right.
I don't think of Crosby right away, because when I think of Crosby, you and I have talked. I think of the other attributes, the face offs.
Yeah.
The forward three defensive positioning, hanging out from going down from the boards to the blue line to cover his defensive positioning.
Right.
But you are right, Gavin, great skater, strong legs, very strong legs. And I don't, he was part of that great outdoor hockey game. He
Yep.
got to display his talents at Penn State when they played Michigan State recently. A few weeks back.
Yep. Facts. I mean, that's when he really got the spotlight on him. So from just what I've been looking up and seeing between these guys, these are the big two for the number one overall pick. And then it's those two, and then it's everybody else. I don't know if you kind of see it that way too.
Well, there's two more guys I think right now it is those two, and everyone else. I have Chase Reed coming up. I really
Okay.
like Chase Reed for a defenseman, but also I like Keaton Verhoff. I really like Keaton as well. Both of them, oddly enough, one is
Right.
North Dakota,
Yep.
but oddly enough, I think this is going to be a deep draft for defense as well this year. It looks
So
like
that's what I was gonna hit on too. I was gonna tell you, like, if you want a defenseman, it looks like it's deep when I see like kind of my top 10 list from like 3 to 8. Yeah, I have at least 4 defensemen in there, and it looks like it's gonna be a heavy defensive draft once you get past those two gentlemen we were speaking of.
Yeah, I really think that when you start getting down to like the 8, 9 position, that's where you're going to see some of these guys who probably might not be on that first year in the NHL. They'll get that 9 game crack to see how they stand. And depending on their age, some of them might go back to a junior hockey league, right? Or some of them, if depending on also age and how good they play, they might get bumped down to that AHL roster. And
Right.
we'll see about that, because I know with the Penguins, they had this issue with Ben Kindle this year. Obviously, he exceeded expectations, so he was able to stay on the roster.
Right.
But for me, I'm interested in who's your number 3 overall after Gavin McKenna.
Veer off, like you said, and then at 4 I have that Carson Carroll's cat, that left defenseman. Then I have Chase Reed at 5. At 6 I have let's see, I have Caleb. Uh,
Malhotra.
yep, that's who
Yep.
I have. Yep, and then I got Daxon Rudolph, another defender up there in the top 10. He's my number 7, and then that that Lawrence kid. That's who I have at number 8.
Yeah, yours and I are very similar. We could swap a couple, I think, but either way, yours
Our
and mine
order's
are
just a
gonna.
little mixed up compared to, we're kind of hockey's harder in my opinion. It's not like the NFL draft. It comes
Right.
down to like what you like in a player. Who's obviously drafting at that position. It's a little bit different than the NFL.
It really is. No, you're right. And hey, uh, it's nice to see that these rankings are going to change for the most part after Gavin McKenna and
Yeah.
after Stenberg. We're going to see really after that who plays the rest of the season and
Yeah.
improves their draft stock.
Right.
and you and I are going to touch upon this as we go throughout the season. These guys are going to be playing, so we're going to get to see more and get more familiar with their game.
Yeah.
Um, so let's get down to it. I'm really excited about the player profile that we're doing today. His name is Leo Carlsson. Leo Carlsson from the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, even though they're not really the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim anymore. You know, they like to make us sad. They like to make us feel like crap. You know how it goes. But the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, Leo Carlsson, drafted in 2023, second overall, which actually was somewhat of a shocker during that draft. Second overall pick behind Connor Bedard, who
Mhm.
has shown massive third-year improvement this year. But dirty Leo Carlsson, so I like to joke around about him. Um, so far, Atrain, he has had somewhat of a bouncy rookie year for that first year, right? Let's talk about that rookie year.
Yeah.
Forming a Ducks team that is changing, right? A Ducks team
Yes.
that is transitioning.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get into it. Rookie season. What do you think about Carlson as rookie season?
All right. So, the big points that are probably going to stand out, I do really like the guy. Obviously, the biggest knock is going to be the left thigh injury that he has, right? So, he suffered that significant injury early on, and, he's another Sweden player. When I think of this guy, I think of a premier young center, right? He's already a premier young center at a young age. And, he plays over 19 minutes a night. Earlier this season, he tied the record for the fourth most points by a Ducks player before the age of 21. So, whenever you're setting records for your franchise at a young age, like 21, it's showing a promising future. He's already a franchise great. If you look at, just the history of the Anaheim, not the Mighty Ducks, I'll just say that.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? When you look at their history, he's already in their history books as a franchise setter. You know, uh, he's a good young player in my opinion. Uh, I think what was the other one? The other record that he set is um, he has the record for I think hat tricks for the Ducks as well. So I mean, if you want a great young center, I think he's your guy, right?
Yeah, Leo Carlson is a smart, high IQ Swedish. Once again, we keep harkening back to this high IQ Swedish player, but it is what they're known for. They're great with just the basics and memorizing everything. But, smart, high IQ player who has done nothing but improve the entirety of his NHL career so far. He's already 1 point, I believe, behind his last year totals, or 1 point eclipsed his last year totals in less games. This year, he was really on a roll in the beginning of the season. That rookie Senek was taking off. And of course, the Ducks are just loaded with young talent right now. They're brimming with young talent. They have McTavish still, and McTavish is blossoming. They got Kreider traded in from the Rangers so that he could be that support system for Leo Carlsson. And Kreider has been successful. He's a 20-goal scorer almost every year.
Right.
I am excited for what Carlson brings to the Ducks for his ability to control faceoffs and also his ability to really catch uh, people sleeping on his two-way game. He is a defensive-minded player. People don't realize that because he has such good hands. But
Right.
that's why, if you notice, when he's floating along that blue line, when they're playing in that offensive zone, he's protecting that blue line as he's cycling. He's such a smart player. I really like him.
Yep. I mean, got to tip our hats to him. Like I said, great young player. We have yet to see his full potential, and I'm looking forward to see what this man could bring to the ice.
Yeah, me too. It's really fortunate that we all get to enjoy these greats in front of a blossoming, really. These guys who are blossoming into greats in front of us. It's really cool to see. Now, I know with coming out of the break, almost coming out of the break, that Leo has been back at practice with the Ducks. It seems that they said this thigh injury is pretty much all better from what I understand.
Yeah, it's
They
just
said he's looking up.
it's a soft tissue, is what I was reading up on it. So nothing too crazy. You know what I mean? We're definitely going to see him again.
Yeah, and it was just a shame that he had to be out, for such a long line leading up to this Olympics too, because he would have been a very important piece, I think, to the Swedish roster, and they might be a little bit better off than what happened with their team.
Right.
Um,
They could have used him for damn sure.
they really could have. But everybody, Leo Carlsson, he's got a bright future. And, this is what we're going to try and do for the NMP player profile in these hockey teams. We're going to pick one player from each team. So far, we've covered, obviously, Atrain's Avs. We had the best defenseman, in our opinions, in the league, Cale Makar. We got to talk about him and how effective and how important he is to the Avalanche. And he's still 27, 28. His future's still bright.
Yep.
This man we just talked about is 22, 23 years old, still growing his game. We're going to try and pick players like right in this range. There may be a couple where we're picking an older guy. Like maybe if we get a Penguins player, it might be Sidney Crosby later on. Who knows? Or maybe it's going to be the rookie Ben Kindle. We don't
Yep.
know. We're gonna talk amongst ourselves and see what you guys want to hear. But if any of you guys who are paying attention to this want us to talk about a specific player, hit us up in the comments, hit us up through NMP. Always mybookie.ag, use the NMP code, not moved. You're going to get some stuff off. We also want to see you use that code for W Energy Drinks, who Atrain was able to get on board with us. He was able to pick a great sponsor who fits our mold and we fit their mold. And then also go through our stores, Walmart, MLB shop, NFL shop, and also the NMP store, of course. So, Train, any last words to leave with as we go into tomorrow's big games?
No, I mean, I think, USA's got to do what they got to do at this point, right? I think we got a legit shot. Like, we were getting questions from Robert over, on TikTok and stuff. I think we got a legit shot. I mean, I'm not as scared, quite as scared, obviously, after Canada lost Sidney Crosby, I think that's a big, it's a big hit to them. You know what I mean? Especially since, it was a close game and they had to win into overtime. I mean, ours was too, but we looked a little bit better in my opinion. I really do think we can win this. So, we just got to keep trucking along.
No, you're absolutely right. I agree. I think we can win this. I think these two games, obviously America has done this thing where they want to look forward to Canada, and I just hope that that is not a distraction from this next game that we have.
Right.
Um, because as always, we root for the home teams. It's not NHL season right now, so we're rooting for the good old US of A right there. We want to see our boys get to that gold medal game. Hopefully, we
Right.
face Canada. If not, okay.
Then yeah, that would be a major disappointment. It almost happened. So
Yeah, it almost happened for real. So, yeah, thank you all once again for joining us here on the Not Move podcast. We're going to see you same time next week talking about some different hockey topics. We're definitely going to be talking about the Olympics, and we should hopefully by next Thursday be back in the swing of things for NHL so we can get that ball moving and get to some important news that's going to be coming with the trade deadline, which is always a fun time to discuss, see where some of our favorite players get to get traded to. Train, always pleasure to work with you, my man. We will
appreciate you,
catch you.
bro.
We will catch you guys next week on Not Move. Thank you.
This non-casual podcast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or reused without the authorized written consent of the Not Move Podcast Network. Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.